We're still a while away. We'll have our major session on Thursday, and obviously train on the Saturday leading into the Sunday game. But we had a VFL bye on the weekend, so there's no real form consideration from players pushing up. But Nathan Brown and Chris Tarrant ran around pretty well today, and we'll stake claims in the main session in a couple of days. But we're sort of still waiting for the dust to settle a little bit in that regard. Look, in the end, when we declare sort of injuries, we try and give mainly our supporters a fair indication of when their favourite players are going to come back, and 2 to 4 was what Brownie's expectations were, and he's very diligent with his recovery. He's had plenty of practice, unfortunately, and he's been able to sort of progress really strongly. So he moved well today, and we'll see how he goes on Thursday before we make a decision on how to progress there. Look, given the fact that Adelaide have played some really good football, sort of in the throughout the whole season, really, they were the form team of the competition, as I said during the week. Their players were up and about, in particular through their midfield. So to be able to match that intensity and to be able to do it for 4 quarters was very encouraging for us. Look, we've had a couple of good wins. I thought the Essendon and the Geelong win in particular late in those games were good performances, and this matches those. Look, we've got to buy in a couple of weeks. We're not going to underrate the competitiveness of a young Gold Coast side. They don't get to the MCG very often, so we know what sort of a spike that can give sides. We won't be looking beyond Sunday and making sure that we put out a 22 that's going to play the style of football that we expect to play for 4 quarters, and the result will look after itself. Yeah, look, Trav was well beaten by Ben Rutten on the weekend. His work rate was high, but it wasn't a night for tall forwards. I mean, Dorsey, didn't have a great deal of influence. Josh Jenkins was well held, and probably Kurt Tippett was the only sort of tall player on the field that really was able to exert an influence on the match. I mean, Clarkey, we just want him to do, and Dorsey, to work hard in front of the ball, to keep creating options. When we get slowed down, they're clearly presenting really well down the line for us, and they compete and they create ground ball for our players. So they are playing their role in that regard. They're not in cracking nick, but we just expect them to work away, and we understand eventually that their turn will come.
Are you worried about either of their form, both of their form? They're starting to concern you?
No, look, they're playing their role within our structure, and if there was a work rate issue, I'd be concerned, but it's not. So I've got no doubt that you go through periods of up and down form, periods where things will fall for you and they don't. When you get some decisions or you don't, whether you're a forward or a back or a midfielder for that matter. And I've got no doubt that if they maintain their work ethic and their preparation and their standards in both of those regards, that it'll turn for them. And they prepare as hard now as they ever have, and it's encouraging to see. Look, in their minds, they're trying to push the envelope and get back sooner than later. The reality is that it's unlikely. But seeing the way that each of our season-ending injury players are recovering, rehabilitating themselves and applying themselves to their to getting back, well, then you never say never.